Hello, future engineers, subscribers, viewers, and students. There is a video in the playlist Algebra, and this is Algebra 6. And in this video, I discuss principles and sample problems. Of course, in the second part, about word problems in one or two variables. And this is the continuation. In this video, we'll take up problems about work, age, clock, ratio and proportion, variation, Venn diagram, digit, and geometric problems. So in the second part, it will be problems for solution. So let's have the principle on work problems. So the principle is that if a person can do a piece of work in T days, his rate would be the reciprocal of that. So 1 over T, which is the fractional part of the work done per day. And this is represented below if, let us say, T is 6 days. So the work is then divided into 6 equal parts. And for each unit time of work, so in this case, for each day of work, you can accomplish this part here. Let's mark that as 1, 2, up to 6. So that means if you work for 1 day, then 1/6 of the work is accomplished or finished. If you work for 3 days, then 50% of the work or 1/2 of the work will be finished. 3 over 6 or 0.5, 50% of work is completed. That's the meaning of that. So, however, actual work problems are based on the number of man days or man hours a particular job needs. So, for example, if the construction of a 3-story building can be done by 1,200 man days, then 20 permanent men should be hired for 60 days to finish it, and vice versa. So it may also be 30 permanent men should be hired for 40 days. So that 30 times 40 equals 1,200 man days. 20 times 60, that's also 1,200 man days. Then next, let's have the principle on age problems. So if X is the present age of a person, then these are the common words, phrases on age problems. X minus 4 was his age 4 years ago. So take note of the tenses also. X plus 3 will be his age 3 years from now. And the other way to express that is X plus 3 will be his age 3 years hence. Then the difference in ages between two persons mentioned is constant. So it should not be philosophical like one of them dies. So it's assumed that they remain alive as part of the problem. So the difference in ages between two persons mentioned is constant. So next is about the principles on clock. So let's consider the clock shown, and the clock reads 12 o'clock. So this one reads 12 o'clock. So what do we expect after 1 hour? So let's just animate it fast so that you can expect that after 1 hour, the minute hand will turn one revolution. It will go back to point the 12 o'clock mark, while the hour hand we'll just turn this one graduation here. So since the clock is graduated 12 equal graduations, the movement of the hour hand will just be 1/12 of a revolution. And we use that concept or idea to relate the speeds or the corresponding number of minutes that the hour hand travels in terms of the movement of the minute hand. So after 1 hour, that would be the position of the hands of the clock. So that will now be 1 o'clock. So we note that the minute hand has turned 360 degrees or one complete revolution, while the hour hand has correspondingly turned 30 degrees or 1/12 of a revolution. So take note that its graduation is equal to the angular spacing between marks is 30 degrees for that case. So we then uh, have the general relationship about clock. So it begins, let us say, with that initial reading 12 o'clock. Then after X minutes, so that's 12 o'clock, that would be the movement and the corresponding turning of the hands of the clock. So after X minutes, the minute hand from the initial position of the minute hand, which points the 12 o'clock mark to its final position, we call that X minutes. While the corresponding movement of the hour hand in minutes will just be this, and that is from the previous principal relationship of their movement, the equivalent number of minutes that the hour hand has turned is only x over 12 of a minute. So that's important. So other important information and facts about clock is that 60 minutes, 360 degrees for the minute hand, then 60 seconds equals 360 degrees for the second hand, and 12 hours equals 360 degrees for the hour hand. So from calculus or from trigonometry or geometry, the arc length strike by the tip of an arm or tip of the radius sweeping an angle theta, the relationship is S equals radius times central angle theta. If we differentiate that, ds dt equals radius times d theta dt, where ds dt is the tangential velocity, radius is constant, then d theta dt is the angular velocity. So that's why the relationship is tangential velocity equals omega times r, where omega is in radians per second, radius in, let us say, meters, so meters per second would be the units for that tangential velocity or linear velocity. It may be in meters per second or in feet per second. Then omega is the angular velocity in radians per second, and r, radius or length of arm of minute or hour hand or second hand in meters or in feet. Next concept would be about ratio and proportion. So the ratio of a quantity x, we call that the antecedent to a second quantity of the same kind y, which is called consequent, is denoted by x semicolon y or x divided by y. Proportion, on the other hand, is a statement describing that two ratios are equal. So for example, A semicolon B or A as to B equals C semicolon D. And we can also write that in this manner, A over B equals C over D. So the quantities A and D, because this is the beginning and this is the end, we call them the extremes, while B and C, the middle quantities, are called the means. So the product of the means is equal to the product of the extremes. Of course, after we cross multiply, that would be the result. So there's no need to memorize that because you know that. So there are specific terms for these different cases of ratio and proportion. If you encounter statement A as to X equals X as to B, X is called the mean proportional between A and B because it is X squared equals AB. So that's why it's called the mean proportional. If you express or transform this into an equation form, then we have A over X equals X as to B. You can form X squared equals AB. Remember the square of the geometric mean in geometric progression. So that's why it's called the mean proportional between A and B. While in this case, the symbol B is the third quantity B is called the third proportional to A and X. So that's for that situation. Then let's proceed to case. So case 2, if A as to B equals C as to D, D is called the fourth proportional to A, B, and C. Take note, it's common sense, of course, if the quantities are denoted by different symbols A, B, C, and D. So fourth proportional, D is the fourth proportional to A, B, and C. Let's proceed to the concept on variation problems. And there are types of variation. The first one is the direct variation. So if you encounter statements such as if y varies directly as x or y is directly proportional to x, so that means y is proportional to x, and we transform that into an equation y equals kx. So k is called the constant of variation or the constant of proportionality. In general, constant of variation. Examples of this variation are from physics or from hydraulics. uh, Pressure equals rho gh or specific weight times h, and mass equals density times volume. And you have so many examples about this linear variation here. You can cite many cases in engineering. Inverse variation, when you encounter statements if y varies inversely as x or y is inversely proportional to x, then y is, this is the symbol, proportional to the reciprocal of x1 over x. Then we transform that into an equation, y equals constant of variation over x. So example of this would be the equation of hyperbola with axis rotated, xy equals constant. But for specific examples, we have frequency from physics is the reciprocal of period. If velocity is constant, then it is distance over time. So if the distance is held fixed, then we say that velocity is, or speed is, inversely proportional to the time. The distance is held fixed. Then next we proceed to joint variation. When you encounter statements if y varies as the product of w and x, then we transform that into an equation y equals kwx. So it doesn't mean the exponents of these quantities are unity or 1. It may have exponents of 2 as long as they are written as product. So examples are the following: volume of a right circular cylinder, which is pi r square h, or the lateral area of a cylinder, which is circumference times height, or 2 pi r h. Then lastly, we have combined variation. When you encounter statements like if y varies jointly as w and x and inversely as z, then we transform that into an equation y equals kwx over z. So that's about combined variation. You don't need to memorize this as long as you can interpret these statements. You can transform these statements into these equations. You don't need to memorize. The types of variation also you don't need to memorize. So example of this is the force of attraction between two objects of masses m1 and m2 and the distance at distance d apart. So this is Coulomb's law, I think, in electrical engineering, and you can encounter this also in physics. So F sub g equals g, capital G, the constant of variation, times m1 m2 over distance square. So it is in Newton meter square per kilogram square units. The value of G can be found in your calculator, constant G there. It is 6.674 times 10 to the 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. So next we have concept on Venn diagrams, Venn diagram problems. This is used in set operations and problems regarding sets. We already used this in uh, determining or in the applications of probability, determining the numbers, no, about students enrolled in certain subjects in a certain university. So survey. Then let us say we have two sets here, A and B. So we have set A and set B. We first fill in the common area, the common space between two sets. If there are uh, elements common to sets A and B, then they intersect. The sets are represented by these circles here. So we put X at the area common to the two, and we interpret that as elements common to sets A and B. So therefore, this is if the total population or total members in set A is A, then this is A minus X, and A minus X are exclusive members of set A, and therefore this is B minus X, which are exclusive members of set B. So that is A minus X, exclusive members of set A, and B minus X are exclusive members of set B. Then for the next case, so assuming we have set A, B, and set C. Notice that sets A and C do not overlap or do not intersect. So that means sets A and C have no elements in common. So the same principle, we first insert elements common to two sets or three sets if they intersect, then down to the space exclusive members of the set. So first, let us say X members are common to sets A and B, and we have A minus X, therefore exclusive members of set A. Then Y elements are or members common to sets B and C. Then C minus Y would be the exclusive members of set C. While this is B minus X minus Y, that represents exclusive members of set B. then A and C have no elements in common as stated earlier. So finally, let's have geometric digit problems, second to the last. So we represent a two-digit number by 10t plus u, where t is the tens digit, u the units digit. Then if it is a 100-digit number, we represent that by 100h plus 10t plus u, where h this time is the hundredths digit. Then when the order of the digits is reversed, then for example, if it is a 3-digit number, then it becomes 100u plus 10t plus h. So 3-digit number with the order of the digits reversed. That's the principle. Then the rest would be algebra. So you have to comprehend the statements of the problem because that's algebra. Then from that statements, we represent variable with x if there's only one variable. If there are two variables, then we represent it by y. Then we solve the formulated equations by the calculator if allowed, two equations, two unknowns, or we express one variable in terms of the other to reduce it to just one unknown. So finally, we have geometric problems here. And in this geometric problem, area of rectangle base times height. The perimeter is 2 times quantity base times height. The sum of the interior angles of a triangle is quantity n minus 2 times 180 degrees. And for the rest of this, especially geometric plane figures or solid figures, let's have that in plane and solid geometry. So for the first problem, problems for solution, that will be in the second part about solutions to sample problems in Algebra 6. So this is for the discussion of the principles, types of problems under Algebra 6.